Are you always hungry? Do you need lots of snacks just to get you through the day? Does it seem impossible for you to turn off your hunger? Do you feel that this is a really limiting factor in your ability to lose the amount of weight that you want to lose? What's up, everybody? This is Carl Piltz, and in this first video we're going to be talking about how hunger and appetite really work. In this video I'm going to answer 3 questions. The first one is, what makes me hungry? What are the mechanisms in my body that make me feel hungry and make me feel full? And it turns out that the amount of food in your stomach has very little to do with it. The second question is, why am I hungry so often? A lot of people have to do a lot of snacking throughout the day just to get through the day because their hunger keeps coming back and keeps coming back. Then the third question is, how can I turn off my hunger? How can I make it so that I'm only hungry when my body needs food? So let's start at the beginning. What controls our hunger and appetite? Hormones. Hormones control our appetite, and I'm going to show you how. So which hormones control our appetite? There are 2 of them. One is leptin and one is ghrelin. Leptin is a hormone that tells our body that we are full. Ghrelin is a hormone that tells our body, feed me. And these 2 hormones, leptin and ghrelin, have an inverse relationship. It's like they're on a seesaw. One's going up, the other's going down. The other's going up, the other's going down. And so leptin and ghrelin are constantly going up and down throughout the day, and this is what we feel as our appetite. When leptin is up, we're full. When ghrelin is up, we're hungry. And this cycle goes on several times throughout the day. Now, a very big point that I want to make clear right now is the strength of these hormones. These hormones are so incredibly strong. In fact, it's been shown that with rats, if you artificially hold leptin high, you can make that rat starve himself to death because he's not hungry. You can also artificially hold ghrelin high, and that rat will eat himself to death. That's how powerful these hormones are. And if all we have to fight these hormones is our willpower, then we're dead in the water. If you think that you can tell yourself, I won't eat, and that will keep you away from eating sweets, it won't be long before you're face deep in some Haagen-Dazs. And honestly, there's a much better way of doing it, and that is to learn how your appetite works. So let's start with how hunger is supposed to work. So here you're going about your day, and your body starts to need energy. So ghrelin goes up, and this makes you feel hungry. So what do? You eat a meal. Your meal causes leptin to go up, making you feel full, and ghrelin to go down, suppressing your appetite. Well, a couple hours later, when your body needs energy again, then leptin will come down, and ghrelin will go up. And this causes your appetite to come back. So what do again? You eat another meal. Then the same thing happens. Leptin comes back up, making you feel full. Ghrelin goes back down, suppressing your appetite. And this is how it's supposed to work. Now, what's actually happening behind the scenes is that leptin and ghrelin are rising and falling. And when they rise, they're telling your brain a message. When leptin rises, it gives your brain the message that you're full. When ghrelin rises, it gives your brain the message that you're hungry. So these hormones are communicating a message to your brain. This becomes really important in just a second. So, how do we keep our hunger in check? We keep leptin high. Keeping leptin high keeps the I'm full signal going to your brain, and it prevents the feed me signal from getting to your brain. Well, how do we keep leptin high? There are a couple things that raise leptin and keep it high. Let's talk about those here. The first thing that will raise leptin is your stomach stretching. When your stomach stretches because it's full, then that will trigger leptin to rise. The only problem with that is it takes a lot of food in order to stretch your stomach in order to get that leptin high. And we don't necessarily want that. We don't want to have to eat a ton of calories just to get leptin high. The second thing that raises leptin are fat cells. Fat cells themselves produce leptin. Each fat cell that you have produces leptin. So, the more fat cells that you have, the higher your leptin will rise. And this has an evolutionary reason. If hunter-gatherers gained too much fat, then they would be slow. They wouldn't be able to hunt food, and they wouldn't be able to run away from danger. This makes for a dead caveman. So with this design, if we have enough energy stored on our bodies already, it would raise leptin so that we were no longer hungry and so we didn't take in any more calories through food. Now the third thing that will make leptin rise are meals containing fat. See, fat is made up of fatty acids. When you look at the fat on a piece of ribeye and you see that white stuff, that's actually a chain of individual fatty acids chained together. Some of them are caprylic acid, butyric acid, palmitic acid. Those are all fatty acids, and string them together and they make what we know as fat. And a bunch of these fatty acids cause a direct rise in leptin when we eat them. That's why when we eat a meal that has a lot of fat in it, we feel full, because these fatty acids cause leptin to rise. So fat makes us feel full. And we've been told forever that we should be eating low-fat meals, when fat is the thing that controls our appetite. Low-fat diets are taking away this important appetite suppressant. And what I'm about to show you is that these low-fat diets are causing our appetites to completely malfunction. And it's because of what we have been replacing the fat in our diets with. So, to recap real quick, our hunger should be regulated if we, 1, eat until our stomach stretches. Except this is not really what we want because this would take a good amount of calories. Number 2, if we have a lot of stored body fat. But this is the opposite of what we want. We're trying to lose body fat. And number 3, if we eat meals containing fat. Now, a lot of people are going to be asking, I thought fat was bad for me. Stay tuned for that. Turns out that the recommendations that we've been getting out of the government, out of the American Heart Association, and all of our doctors has been based on shaky science and half-truths. So that's how my appetite is supposed to work. But how is my appetite actually working right now?